Hey, what's up guys, Control back at you with Witchwood's Part 4 review for me. Again, this review is from a wild perspective, meaning all the cards are really talked about from the perspective of the wild metagame. So some cards that might be really good in standard, unfortunately won't be good in wild, and I'll be giving them like basically just 2 thumbs down right away. And other cards that aren't going to be good in standard could potentially be really good in wild due to synergies here. So, that being said, let's review some cards. Number 1, Spell Shifter. So this is just a better Dalaran Mage. 2 mana, 1/4 spell damage +1. Each turn this is in your hand. Swap its attack and health. So power creep over a basic card. We've seen this before. No big deal. It's perfectly fine and an okay card. Won't be running any decks, but it's okay. I mean, synergy with Arcane Blast. I still think you would rather run Cult Sorcerer, the 3/2, over a 1/4 or a 4/1, but you know, it's a different card, and this one will be good for people deck building at early stages of Hearthstone. 2 thumbs down from a competitive perspective. Next up, Gillian Royal Guard, 8 mana 3/8, Divine Shield and Rush. Each turn this is in your hand, swap its attack and health, and it's a neutral card. So again, this is like a strong arena card, but it's not gonna see constructed play in wild at all. I kind of like the stat line of 3/8 and the fact that it has Divine Shield with Rush. Cool flavor, how it swaps from being a human to a worgen. But again, from a competitive perspective, 2 thumbs down. Next up, Duelmaster Dorian, 5 mana 2/6. A legendary, whenever you draw a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it. That's a neutral. So basically what's been popping up with this, and the only consistent synergy that there's 2 basically scenarios where I see this being good. One, just tempoed out in Big Rogue, so Dane's Big Rogue deck, you just tempo this out in it, and then maybe you draw some big boys, and it could be good in that case, because that's a deck that could actually fit a card like Duelmaster Dorian quite well. Or the more consistent scenario is playing a Warlock deck that uses Sense Demons. So you can play Duelmaster Dorian on turn 8 with Sense Demons, draw Mal'Ganis and Voidlord, and get 2 1/1 copies of them, which then increases the odds of your Gul'dan being favorable for you, and giving you 2 big demons to play on turn 9 if you so choose, which is really powerful and honestly quite ridiculous. That being said though, that's a 2-card combo that needs to be played on turn 8. Which isn't super easy to pull off. Some more consistent, you'll be able to play Duelmaster Dorian on turn 5 and then just like go for the Sense Demons on 6 and have that be more impactful. That being said though, turn 5 is usually when you want to be playing Skull of Minari, so it's kind of a weird turn to do that on. But this could be a relevant card later on in the game. The question is whether or not you want to run it in your Cube Block deck. The answer for me is most likely not right off the bat. Doesn't seem super great and kind of gimmicky. But you got to think about it this way. The deck runs cards like Umbra and Prince Tal'Daram already. That being said, those cards aren't really super gimmicky. They let you get more cubes and pop off super hard and are actually really good. But they're really situational cards. And Cube Block is a deck that can't hold on to super situational cards. So Duelmaster Duelmaster Doran is going to be one that will be, I think, you know, kind of messed around with a little bit. But I don't think it'll see the light of super competitive play. But for the fact that I think there is a reason that it is strong, I will give you 1 thumb up for Duelmaster Doran. Next up, Voodoo Doctor, 3 mana 1/1. It's an epic and a neutral card. Battlecry, choose a minion. Deathrattle, destroy the chosen minion. I think this card's really problematic just from a design perspective for Hearthstone. This is a neutral card that you can run as a 2 of in any Hearthstone deck forever. That's hard removal. It's really problematic in classes like Mage, Rogue doesn't need it because of Assassinate, or Druid, for example. Any class with a ping, really, makes Voodoo Doll ridiculously powerful. Just because it gives them the option to have some hard removal just for 3 mana and a hero power consistently, which is really broken. This is a card that will see play in decks like Reno Mage, really simply. It's a super good 1-of that's very flexible for 5 mana. You know, maybe you're running Fireball in your Arena Mage deck. I'd run Voodoo Doll instead. A lot more consistent in what it does, better removal and just stronger. But it's just a really strong card that is kind of scary, to be honest, especially for Wild, because that means any class is going to have the option to have 3 mana, you know, remove a card. Again, you do have to have an activator for it to get the Deathrattle to have it removed right away. So usually it's going to be like 4 to 7, depending on what you want to do to clear it. But still, it's just the potential of it. So I think this card is very, very, very powerful. I don't think it's going to crush the current metagame we're seeing right now, just because we're seeing a mana cheap metagame, which means that, you know, 5 mana remove a card's not super great. But if new cards pop up that kind of beat the mana cheap metagame, or the cards in the mana cheap metagame like Call to Arms, Void Caller, Sea Witch, and Barnes get nerfed, then Voodoo Lord's magically good. So for me, I think that this is a very interesting card, and one that could be a future problem. I'm going to give it 1 thumb up, because I don't think it's going to like super define the meta, but I think that it will be run in Reno Priest, which is Reno Mage, which is a meta deck. And you could also use it in Warlock decks. It's just a matter of whether you want to use it or not, because you do have stuff like Defile and Hellfire, Mortal Coil to activate it, but it's a question of whether you want it or not in those decks, whereas Reno Mage would definitely want this. But yeah, it's a good card just for that, and I think it will see play. Next up, 8 mana, 8/8 Druid's Legendary, Splintergraft. Reads Battlecry, choose a friendly minion, add a 10/10 copy to your hand that costs 10. I think this is a fun meme card, but I don't think this is going to be replacing any combos like, you know, the Aviana Coon shenanigans with Faceless Manipulator. No reason to really be playing Splintergraft in that kind of a deck, I don't think. So I don't really see a place where this card fits. An 8 mana 8/8 on curve is not very strong. Maybe if this card had like Taunt or something, I could see it, but it doesn't. So I think Splintergraft is one of those fun legendaries. I'll play with it myself. All the fun legendaries, like, don't get me wrong, I love them, man. I love messing around with them a couple times, having some fun, pulling the combos off. But from a competitive perspective, Splintergraft is
hi YouTube.
Big 2 thumbs down. Sparta, thanks for the sub, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Hi YouTube. Hi Sparta, how you doing? Thanks, appreciate you, buddy. You real one. Let's go. You're having a great day, man. Next up is Toki, Time Tinker. 6 mana, 5/5 Mage Legendary. Battlecry, add a random legendary minion from the past to your hand. Well, guys, we play Wild. We're living in the past. Toki's a 6 mana, 5/5 that doesn't read Deathrattle. Steal a random minion from your opponent. So, I mean, don't run Toki. Run Sylvanas instead. Or pick just like a good legendary from the past to put in your mage deck instead of running Toki Time Taker. Kind of a fun card for standard players because they can run wild legendaries in their standard decks. But in wild, 2 thumbs down. Next up, Mist Wraith, 4 mana 3/5. Whenever you play an Echo card, gain +1/1. It's a rogue rare. If there was a 1 mana Echo card, I could see Mist Wraith being good. All the Echo cards are 2 mana though, so Mist Wraith, gonna give you the big fat no. That being said though, I think that this card could be fun in like an Echo deck. There's an Echo Burgle card that we're gonna get to soon. But I think in some of those Echo-y decks, Mist Wraith could be fun and potentially really snowbally. I'd really like to be able to, you know, highlight a deck that I think is at least like tier 3 or tier 4 that plays with the Echo mechanic and Rogue and can use a card like this that snowballs and just really have it get out of control. So I'll look forward to making some content with that kind of stuff, and hopefully we can get a thick Mist Wraith. But I don't think the card is very good or gonna, you know, redefine any kind of metagame or the meta in general in Wild. So for me, Mist Wraith, 2 thumbs down. Next up, Pickpocket. Just talking about this one. It's a 2 mana rare rogue spell. Echo, add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class. See Mana Wraith on turn 4, or Mist Wraith, sorry, not Mana Wraith, Mist Wraith. Double Pickpocket on turn 5. Well, your Mist Wraith is a 5/5 and you have 2 random cards. Pretty good. Pickpocket would be really good at the 1 mana slot, obviously, but it's super balanced to the 2 mana slot. It's kind of weird, and it's one of those things where, like, if Hearthstone went by, like, you know, 100 mana instead of 10, and, you know, when, like, you know, 1 mana cards are 10, 2 mana cards are 20 mana, and then there's, like, a 1.5 slot that's, like, 15 mana, that a card like Pickpocket, like, 15 mana would be decent, and you'd probably play it. But it 2 mana, it's just way too much. The effect isn't really beneficial for what you get. Think about Swashbuckler. It's a decent card because what it would do is you would play a 1/1, you would get a random card from your opponent's class, and you would have patches come out of your deck, which is pretty good. And the random card was just like an added benefit, basically. Pickpocket, though, you're paying 2 mana for getting no minions. Yes, you can echo it, and that's the reason why it's expensive, but you're not getting to the point where you turn 10 playing Burgle Rogue, needing 5 random cards from your opponent's deck. Does not happen. Pickpocket, from a competitive perspective, 2 thumbs down. Fun perspective, it's not even like super up there, it's like eh. Next up, Silver Sword, 8 mana 3/4 Paladin, rare weapon. After your hero attacks, give your minions +1/1. To me, this just seems worse than Vine Cleaver as far as late game weapons go. Also, you can think about it this way in Wild, Tyrion's not being played. Why would you run Silver Sword over Tyrion? Ashbringer is just better, and having a Divine Shield taunt 6/6 with a Deathrattle is really, really powerful. So Silver Sword for me, not good enough. Kind of a neat weapon though, good free-to-play card, but yeah, not competitively viable. 2 thumbs down, baby. Next up, the Glass Knight, 4 mana, 4/3 Divine Shield, Paladin Legendary. Whenever you restore health, gain Divine Shield. So this is one that I've been asked about quite a bit. My opinion on it is that it's not super good in Wild, just because you don't want to be running healing cards in Paladin. The Divine Shield part's kind of interesting too, but you have to think how many Paladin decks even run Piloted Shredder right now. Because that's basically what this card is it's just Piloted Shredder, but with the Divine Shield instead of a random 2-drop. And even in the case that you have that, do you really want a Divine Shield over a random 2-drop? Because for me, I feel like I want a random 2-drop. There's a Cthulhu card that's a 4 mana 4/2 as well. I'll look up the name of it, but it is a card from Whispers of the Old God. Let's pull up the name real quick. Old Gods. Cthulhu's Chosen, so it's a 4 mana 4/2 Divine Shield. And that card is okay. Obviously, this card does have the added benefit, the Glass Knight being that card, that it does have 1 more health and it can refresh the Divine Shield. But I think this card might be a little bit more relevant in Standard. As Rallying Blade's rotating out and then True Silver might like overtake its spot. It was mentioned to me by somebody in chat earlier. I can definitely see that argument is that restoring health might become more prevalent in a little bit slower Paladin decks, so Glass Knight could actually get a lot of value. Whereas in Wild, you just keep on running Rallying Blade and have no reason to heal yourself when you just go face and play Call to Arms. So Glass Knight for me, cool card and one that'll be maybe decent enough to play in Standard. But in a Wild, it's a no-go, man. I'll give it 2 thumbs down. Yeah, I don't even want to go as far to say that it's 1 thumb down because I think Shredder's is better. So for me, it's 2. But interesting card, and I will play with it as well. I mean, all the legendaries I'm going to mess around with, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's competitive. Next up, Worgen Abomination, 7 mana 6/6, neutral epic. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all of your damaged minions. So if this was a 7 mana 6/6 Baron Geddon, I think that would be pretty cool and add consistency to decks that want Baron Geddon. But it's not, it's only damaged minions, which makes it pretty rough, and for me right off the bat, just 2 thumbs down, man. Not good enough at 7 mana for that effect, and the stat line. 100 Dust Club, let's go. Next up, really cool card, 1 mana 1/2 Warrior Epic Town Crier. Battlecry, draw a rush minion from your deck. So, this is 1 mana card draw for 1. For 2, it's 1 mana tutor card draw. You get to draw a rush minion, so a specific card. And it's a 1/2, so it's not a 1/1. So I personally think if the metagame ever shifts to a place where rush cards are really good, you want to be trading on board a lot, and Town Crier just guarantees you your Militia Commander. Town Crier guarantees your Militia Commander. This card is over the top busted. Trades really well with, like, say, Paladins 1-drops. You trade into 2 Lost in the Jungle, Silverhand Recruits, and you get a 5/5 to play and trade with on turn 4, which is just bonkers, man. It is just, These kind of effects, I think, is what Hearthstone needs more of. These kind of, like, draw a specific card from your deck. Because then you can build your deck around being able to draw that specific card with a card like Town Crier. Make your deck a lot more consistent and super strong that way. But this card, like, even if it's not this expansion, like, say it's like 2 years from now, we get a really strong rush card for Warrior. Like, say, like a 2 mana 3/3 rush card. And you can guarantee drawing that with Town Crier. Holy shit. This card is insane, and it's really good because we eternally get this card in Wild. This is, I would say it's a little bit over the top, but it's not one of those oppressive cards that just wins you the game on the spot when you play it. It's a really strong one that rewards you for building your deck in a good, meaningful way, and it's a really powerful effect that lets you play the way your deck's intended to. So I think Town Crier for me is one of the cards that I'm, over the moon happy about, and I'm just gonna give it 2 thumbs up because I think it's really sweet, even though I don't think it's gonna fit any top tier decks right now. That being said, though, if, Sea Witch, Barnes, Voidcaller, Call to Arms ever get nerfed, then, maybe we get more mid-rangey metagame, and Town Crier magically becomes a top tier card. So I think this is sweet, and a card that definitely should be looked out for, especially in the future, if those changes are made. Next up, Totem Cruncher, 4-mana 2/3, epic shaman card. Taunt, Battlecry, destroy your totems, gain plus 2/2 for each destroyed, and it's a beast. Huh. Refresh my memory, guys. Is Skull of Minari or Voidlord rotating from standard? No. So all the fast decks are still going to be running 2 Spellbreakers, right? Yes. Totem Cruncher sucks. This is even more 100 dust than the working card we just went over. This card is just not good in any case. The fact that it can be devolved, you know, just like silenced, is just really, really bad. And the fact that you're destroying your board to just get plus 2/2 is kind of rough as well. Totems in themselves and Shaman have a pretty high value attached to them. I think even at 3 mana this card would be bad. 2 mana I would see play for sure. But 3 mana I think this card would be trash too. So I feel like Totem Cruncher is just like instant 2 thumbs down. I'm about as appalled as the porcupine is looking in the card picture, the card image, about what this card does. Yes, it's just bad. Move on. Next up, Countess Ashmore, 7 mana 6/6 Battlecry, draw a Rush, Lifesteal, and Deathrattle card from your deck. Very similar to Town Crier, is my whole spiel about this card. This one does come out on turn 7 though, so it's a lot later in the game. But, you know, if we ever get... So we already have really strong Deathrattles, obviously, which is super good. But it's getting the strong Rush and Lifesteal cards printed eventually. This is a really good card for any form of a Reno deck looking to just like get consistency and picking up Rush, Lifesteal, and Deathrattle cards from your deck, which is huge. That being said, though, it's a little bit too slow for the current metagame, so it's going to be hard to fit in your deck to get the tutor effects up. But it is tutor effects. It's very similar to Curator, which is insane. And then you can run Curator and Countess Ashmore in your wild deck, which is really, really, really powerful. Emphasis on the really. But it's just specific targeted card draw, which is nuts. I'm really happy with this card. I like it a lot, and it's one of those ones that's always going to be good to put in your deck in Wild. Always powerful. And I think this is really balanced too, is what I like about it, especially in Wild. It might be over the top a little bit in Standard, but in Wild, this card is very balanced, I think. And just really well designed overall. So for me, Countess Ashmore, again, might see its way in like Reno Lock to pull like a Void Lord, you know, Spellstone. And then maybe, I don't know what neutral cards are going to have Rush you'd want to run in Reno Lock, but maybe you just slot one in for the card draw effect, potentially. Or even not, just, you know, 7 mana draw 2 is not terrible. But I think it's going to be good. For me, it's 2 thumbs up just because of how sick the effect is and how good this card will be eventually, I think. Yeah, counts as Ashmore. You can't. Next up, Book of Specters, 2 mana mage spell, draw 3 cards, discard any spells drawn. So this is just a big fuck you, is all that I'm getting from this card. And it's saying, well, you know, Giants Warlock wasn't enough. Let's make Giants Mage a thing. Yeah, let's do that. So now Mage can just put 2 ice blocks in their deck, double AI, double Arcane Intellect, double Cold Light Oracle, and double Book of Specters, and, you know, hide behind 2 ice blocks while drawing 27 cards from their deck. Oh, and then playing Naga Sea Witch and 17 Giants in one turn. Oh, and then after that, they can play Echo of Medivh, and then copy all their cards back and have a second wave of Big Boy Giants, and then win the game that way. That's all this card's saying to me. 2 mana draw 3 for a mage deck, specifically one like that, because this is exactly the kind of card that you're going to slot into Giants Mage, which honestly will probably become relevant after this expansion. I shit you not, I would not be surprised to see like just Giants Mage deck with like early game filled with like Mad Scientist, Doomsayers and stuff. Maybe even like Arcane Artificers and stuff, but it's just going to be really crazy, I feel like, personally. Because you can just slot a bunch of minions in the deck to do good stuff, and then, well, there you go. You play the Giants lock, sorry, the Giants package as well, and you just draw because you cycle your deck super fast. And the big thing in Mage is, unlike Warlock or Hunter, you have Ice Block. Ice Block is stupid, man. The card's rotated out of Standard, it's in Wild forever. So we have to deal with that. If they get Mad Scientist into like Book of Specters on turn 3, or maybe like Mad Scientist into Arcane Intellect on turn 3, into like double Book of Specters on turn 4, you just shake your head, man, because you know what's coming down on turn 5. Sea Witch plus like 6 Giants, and they're hiding behind an Ice Block as well, so you just lose. Really frustrating card, and this is going to be one of the ones that I think when the meta comes out, sorry, the new expansion comes out, might push for some change, and will probably lead to a lot of people just playing Druid with double Poison Seeds. and doing nothing but just poison seeding the board. But the issue with that, though, is obviously Echo Medivh kind of can help you play around that, right? You don't have to play all your giants at once when you play that kind of a deck. You can play a lot slower. Sometimes even wait till turn 10 to go in with Ice Block. But it's going to be crazy, man, because I think this is really going to enable the archetype. 2-mana draw 3 is just too OP, man. It's way too busted. Yes, I do know you're going to discard spells sometimes, so there is a downside to it, don't get me wrong. I am thinking about that. But a card like this requires you to build your deck around it. It's not, you know, a card that you would want to run in a deck that has like 17 spells, 13 minions. This is like a 20+ minion deck card that'll sometimes draw you 3. But think about it this way, even 2-mana draw 2 is insane. Really, really good. So for me, Book of Specters is probably the most overpowered card that I've seen so far, just because it enables you know, a degenerate archetype so hard. And this is one that could be like truly degenerate, like really bad to deal with. And I'm more afraid of the Reno Giants. Sorry, not Reno Giants. Giants Mage than I am of Giants Lock or Giants Hunter, just because of Echo Medivh and Ice Block. Mostly just Ice Block, but it's scary, man. I'm not looking forward to it, so I'm hoping they revert the Naga Witch change. If they do, we can talk about the card in other decks a little bit. Elemental Mage and Mech Mage are the two that come to mind, like just, you know, minion heavy builds of mage decks. This card's obviously good in those decks as well, but not as good as a Giants deck where you play, you know, 29 worth of stats on turn 5 casually. Anyways, Book of Specters, from a power level, definitely 2 thumbs up. This card could be built around in Wild to be very, very successful. So I think this is just like, this is just gonna, we need like Blizzard devs eyes wide open, man. Eyes wide open, because, oh, I am scared. Next up, 6-mana 2/7 Mossy Horror. Battlecry, destroy all of the minions with 2 or less attack. This is that Spreading Plague tech that we needed like 2 expansions ago. It's here though. We do have it now. So that's the thing. We have the Spreading Plague tech. 6-mana 2/7, not a very good body, but it beats Spreading Plague. This will be a counter Q card. If you're playing Pyro Warrior, you're playing any form of an aggro deck really, and you are upset at that Druid that just beat you 2 games in a row because they played Spreading Plague against you and healed for 35, well, guess what you do? You say, hey, I'm jamming 2 of those Mossy Horrors in my deck, and you know that little grin that guy's got on his face? I shouldn't say little guy, he's a big guy. That big grin Mossy Horror has on his face, you're going to have 2 when you shit on all of the stupid Druids with Spreading Plague. And this will happen. This card will be relevant in the metagame. It will be a good counter Q card. And people will win a lot of games with it, I think. Especially because it's a turn 6 card that's relevant then. It's not like Galactic Crawler where it's good on turn 2. It's Mossy Horror, man. You have time to draw cards by turn 6. Get through like half your deck, man, and you know, if you put 2 in your list, you're probably going to draw 1, and then you're probably going to have an answer to Spreading Plague, and Druids will probably cry. So that's good, and honestly, I'm really happy this is printed, because it's a very specific answer to a very specific card that I think needs answering. Spreading Plague is absolutely ridiculous, and it's honestly just a disgusting card. But Mossy Horror, it's coming in hot, and protecting everybody who hates Spreading Plague and loves to play aggro decks, so thank you, Mossy Horror, for that. I appreciate you. So this card for me, I'm going to give it 1 thumb up because I hate counter queuing, but it's going to be relevant, man. If you play Druid, watch out for this because it'll happen. Especially in the first couple days, I think it'll happen a lot if you try to play Druid. So yeah, Mossy Horror is a good card, believe it or not. Next up, 5-mana 2/7 Festarude Hulk. It's a warrior rare, and after a friendly minion attacks, gain +1 attack. So I guess this is Blizzard's balanced version of Frothing Berserker. It's 2 more mana and has 3 more attack and has a shittier effect. Which also means that it won't see play ever. 2 thumbs down. Next up, Splitting Festarude. 8 mana 4/4. It's a neutral epic. Reads Deathrattle, summon 2/2 Splitting Saplings. And I believe the Splitting Saplings split again and summon 2 1/1s. Yeah, I mean, this card just blows. It's an 8 mana 4/4. You don't want value cards that don't do anything right away when you play them in this current metagame that we're seeing right now in Wild. When you play an 8-drop, you want it to be a Ragnaros that hits your opponent in the face for 8. You don't want it to be a 4/4 that gets silenced and is an 8 mana 4/4. So for me, Splitting Fester, not relevant. 2 thumbs down. Next up, 3 mana 3/3 Blink Fox. It's a rogue common. Battlecry, add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class. Not bad, it's got the SI7 agent stat line, but it seals a card instead of dealing 2 damage. Which is almost always worse, but it's better in the case that we look at the next card right away and just say Blink Fox isn't very good. Give it 1 thumb down. Look at the next card right away though. Test Greymane. 8 mana 6/6 Rogue Legendary. Battlecry will play every card from another class you played this game. Targets chosen randomly. So it's like Burger Rogue Zeog, I guess. But in the case you're running a card like that, Blink Fox and you know, even effects like Pickpocket, the Echo card, can become a lot better for Rogue and actually viable. That being said, are they going to be strong? No, these will be like fun, you know, decks that you play at the rank 5 floor and mess around with and lose like 7 games, but win 3 and have a lot of fun in the 3 games you win, which is sweet, dude. I like it, and you know, I'll be messing around with Test Greymane myself. Think it should be a fun card, and definitely one that you know, spice up what we're seeing currently, give you some fun enjoyment from Hearthstone, and you know, we'll see some cool stuff. I know you guys remember Yogg pre-nerf. Stupid stuff happened, man. And that's kind of fun when dumb stuff happens in Hearthstone. So it's part of the game, man. RNG is awesome in Hearthstone. So not all of it is, but most of it is. So especially when you're playing Burger Rogue, obviously you're happy with that kind of stuff. So it should be fun. And I'm personally excited for Test Greymane just for that reason. Is that, you know, something different to do. It's fun for Rogue. You can do that. So for me, I give it 1 thumb up for the fun factor, competitive factor. 2 thumbs down, obviously, but yeah. Test Greymane. Thumb up for me. I like you. Last card for today, 2 mana 2/2 Archmage Arugal. Sorry. Whenever you draw a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. So this is just a value card. It's almost unnecessary for me, personally, just because Echo of Medivh's a card in Wild. And Archmage is just very specific, I think. Yes, the initial thought is you can play it in the Giants deck with Book of Specters, but I don't know how powerful. Sorry, how powerful. Oh man, that stutter was bad. I don't know how powerful it's actually going to be because it's 2 specific cards that you need in your hand by, like, say, turn 4. Obviously, getting a copy of your minions is really good, but is this the specific card you want in the deck? You could also argue, based on the fact that you need to have like 20 plus minions in the deck to make it actually work consistently, that Archmage Arugal, would actually be good because you need a lot of minions and its effect is really high rolling and strong. So you might want to include in the deck just for that. So I think, you know, at the very bottom line, this card has potential. And even in like Reno decks, you can go like Archmage into, you know, card draw. And sometimes you'll pick up like Kazakus and Reno and get an extra copy of them. That being said, though, an effect like this is usually a little bit stronger when you can control what it's being on with cards like Echo of Medivh. So I don't think Archmage is necessarily the best card in the entire game. I think it's okay. Not bad and could potentially see play. So for me, I will give it 1 thumb up just for that. And I did actually miss a card. There is a Paladin card that I missed. So we'll go over that real quick. I missed Bellringer Sentry, which is a 4 mana 3/4 Paladin card. It's a rare. And it reads Battlecry and Deathrattle. Put a secret from your deck into the battlefield. So it's just mini Mysterious Challenger, really. And I know the initial thought is, oh, Secret Paladin, let's put it in that deck. Answer to that, no. Don't. This is a card used for deck thinning specifically, so it'll be run in a deck like Exodia Paladin, Secret Exodia Paladin. That plays like double called arms with a bunch of card draw effects like loot orders. It goes off with that, and then Mysterious Challenger to thin the deck of all the secrets that it has. So then, you know, you got like 7 cards left in your deck, and one of them is going to be Uther, and the other one's going to be like, you know, Thorson, and then Auction Master Beardo, and then there you go, you get your OTK combo on like turn 11. Bellringer Sentry is good for that because it does pull a card from your deck. That being said, though, you're going to have to start running more secrets in that deck, which is kind of bad, but also kind of good because it does activate Uther after you play Thorson and stuff. Like, they're the token cards you need to reactivate your hero power, which is good. So I think that's alright. Yeah, I don't mind it. So it'll see play in that deck, but I don't think it's... I could see play in that deck. I shouldn't say it will. But I think it's a decent card. It's not, like, insane or anything. Just one that could potentially have some use in one specific archetype in Wild, which is better than most of the cards in this expansion anyways, so I guess I can give it a thumb up for that. It has potential. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed my 4th review of some Witchwood cards here. We're actually at 83 out of 135 so far, so just going to do 2 more reviews in totals, and then that's going to be it for the card reviews, as I'll have gone over all of them. But yeah, we're up to date actually, so that's actually really good. Just got up to date on the cards released, so that's sweet. Anyways, if you guys liked the video, feel free to smash the like button. Comment below if you agree with anything or disagree with anything I'm saying. I always like to hear other people's opinions, and even if I don't respond to too many at all, I do read all the YouTube comments and stuff. Or feel free to drop by Twitch and just let me know what you think about some cards live when I stream. And yeah, that'll be all for me today. Have a great day, guys. Controls out.